Oh, absolutely first class.
Great success.
Very good, excellent.
The best I've seen. Oh, we always come.
No, I haven't been. I'm not going to this one either.
I hardly ever miss one of their shows at all. A very pleasant social function. One meets one's friends here.
Frankly, I prefer to see a comedy rather than Shakespeare, for instance.
I prefer the Shakespearean play.
It's nice to have different ones. It's a real good laugh.
Better than going to the West End.
Very fine show.
I'd much rather see a good film.
Well, it certainly takes up a lot of time. I often find the best time to learn lines is at my lunch hour or even when I'm going to work. It's just a matter of finding an odd quarter of an hour, 20 minutes to sit down and pick up the book. Because a lot of people have got other activities to take into consideration. Some people have got children to look after during the day. And there are a couple of members I know who look after some old people. And there's one particular member who is a cub mistress. The worst time for me anyway when I'm in a play is about 20 minutes before the start. Before you know where you are, it's tea interval. A lot of the audience can go across to the pub opposite.
We're in Hertfordshire now. That's North Mymms below. Bradmore Green. There's the village hall. And that's the local church just coming up.
Lillian Harrison produced one or two one-act plays for the Institute, and then she decided to do a full-length one.
She really was the instigator of the society, you know, back in 1948.
For a local amateur dramatic society, they really are extremely good. I think they've got some enormous amount of talent.
Here we have the old village, so to speak, and the new town, you might almost call Brooklands Park. It's a very fine thing to have the people from the two ends of the meeting at a place like this for dramatics. Is because you've got an absolutely first-class producer.
I think the society is very fortunate in having a professional to do it in an amateur way. This is one of the things which makes the place so good.
Well, we're all rather looking forward to this Murder at the Vicarage because our producer, Lillian Harrison, is taking the part of Miss Marples.
I'm going to do it beautifully. Janet,
Will you enter as soon as Peter and Pat have gone out so we can cut down on the song? I noticed the set got applause when the curtain went up, which I think is always a very nice thing.
We've been rehearsing this, I think, since the end of July, which is quite a long time for a play like this. Too long, I think. Because I think a comedy like this should be rehearsed in shorter time as possible so that the cast work up to a pitch and don't get stale, which I think possibly has happened in this, but I think on the other hand the play seems to have gone down much better than we thought it would.
Mother! Act 3, Peter called Mother sharply just before she finishes good night, parting of such sweet sorrow. Doreen, speak up. I know you've had a bad throat.
I'll shoot him right between the eyes.
Well, there's one meeting a week on the whole, but as it peps up, you get, a daily rehearsal almost towards the last week. 3 rehearsals a week as you get up to the climax. Oh, I'm secretary. Nowadays, people are in groups, the younger people, and then there's the older people. But this society brings everyone together. I contact other members, keep them in touch. But we're very lucky because Bob Wall, the chairman, does quite a bit.
The society has worked through a committee which is run entirely by Mrs. Charcombe, known as Lily, and the rest of the society. I am nominally the treasurer of the society, which of course consists of quite a lot of endeavouring to prevent people spending too much money. Production of Shakespeare would cost anything up to £100. A production of something not quite so elaborate in dress could cost as little as £60. It varies considerably on how much I can prevent the producer spending. If it costs £60, we should make a profit. If it costs £100, we will probably make a loss. Noel Coward, who wrote a thing called Peace in Our Time, we did have a sellout for that. We also had a sellout for The Young Elizabeth, 2 of the best plays I personally think we put on. I also do a bit of parish council stuff.
We usually do it Thursday night for the old people, which is really a dress rehearsal. We ask all the old people to the parish. Friday night and Saturday night to the public.
We also do quite a bit of work before the play in shifting the scenery, painting it and putting it up.
We usually have barbecues, at least one dance a year, whist drives. We have an annual jumble sale, which brings in a lot of money very quickly.
Actually, the Sunday before each play, we move the scenery.
Frost, wash all the woodwork that shows on the sofa, and if you've got a little cushion, if not I can bring one tomorrow evening, to fill in the bit where it isn't quite right, and then get sticks to nail it down. It's got to be done, of course, before curtain up at 8 o'clock.
We store it in one of Mrs. Crawford's barns, and we borrow one of the coal lorries, and we all have a marvellous time, but it's very, very hard work.
Possibly the 2 most difficult sets that we've had to build were for Anna Frank and for Billy Lyle.
Alan, we do need a carpet in the alcove. There was a collapse, most elephantine exits, you see.
Either on the Friday night, or sometimes they have come on the actual dress rehearsal night, which I don't think is really fair. Well, I just sort of go into the shop which is next door to the hairdresser and just sweep all the papers I can find and sit under the hairdryer. You see, if I make any noise or rude remark, nobody else can hear.
Rehearsing, 2 at the moment. And when the play gets in its later stages, it'll probably be 3, sometimes 4. Generally speaking, I think we've got a good audience. I mean, when we perform to the old people, one expects funny things to happen, and it usually does. Friday audience is very discerning, more intellectual audience, and Saturday's more the social.
People who will come late, this is the most important thing of all, I think. It's most upsetting, especially if you happen to be the first person to open the play, have the opening lines, and you've got an empty stage, and you've got to start off by yourself. And it's hard enough at the best of times, but if you've got people pushing and shoving to get in and doors slamming and people coughing, it really is very difficult. So I think this is the most annoying thing for me. It feels like walking the footlights and shouting, "Shut up."
Was Joy made up? She looked very pale. Joy, you've got rather unmade shoes on, black with brown leather heels, very smart but not quite Linda. And you've got a very expensive looking diamond ring on your finger. And you've got an ordinary lipstick on. Oh, she doesn't need that.
But I think really the thing is the personal touch. You know, you ask people to come, and people come to see people they know.
No, I think you could probably charge a bit more and get away with it. Was it? The most is 5 shillings, isn't it? Yes, I think you could charge 7 and 6.
Well, I mean, I think they sort of ticket sell themselves, which I think is always a good sign.
Act 2, Scene 1. Bill, anticipate all your entrances. Could you hear your cue there when you missed it?
I couldn't think what was happening. I didn't know who was going to...
Well, you were not there.
I know.
Do you do as I do? Have your book in the wings with your exits and entrances marked?
No.
Well, most pros do. I can tell you it's what we call winging it. Don't anybody be tempted, any production of mine, to do something new because you've got a laugh, because you're very professional in your standards, and to do something new is a sign of the amateur. Gordon's eye makeup was a bit too much tonight. Dick, the moonlight was on in Act 1, the first scene, when it was daylight. Penny, can you twitch those tabs back every time? Brown, I think we could have a thing of flowers on the radiogram.
Quite a number of my patients.
After all, you do it for fun, don't you?
It's just not doing the notes for fun.
But I've enjoyed it all through, the dramatic, and Mrs. Charkham's been lovely. I couldn't do anything without Mrs. Charkham, you know, Lil. Couldn't do anything without her.
Well, I think it went very well indeed.
Oh, come down to earth. We're at a party.
Thank you.